So I've put together a little video for anybody who's coming back to school on Monday. We're all super excited to see you, and we've been very, very busy getting lots of nice things ready for us to do. We thought you might be wondering what school might look like. So I've done a little video to show you, and I hope it helps you feel excited about coming back to school. Time for Bubble 1. If you're in Bubble 1, you will walk down this path and you will find the next free colourful line on the playground, like this. You will wait on your colourful line until your teacher comes to this door. The mummies and daddies will wait on the line. And then, when you go in the door, the mummies and daddies will come up this path, following the arrows. And when they get to the top of the path, the mummies and daddies can leave school out of the gate. But remember to keep 2 metres apart. And you will come through here into the nursery room. The first thing you need to do is wash your hands. And here we've got some sinks for you to wash your hands at. We can't use the middle sink, just the ones on the edge. You will have a table where you can put your things. And you'll have a tray and a chair. You can put your lunchbox and your drink on your table. And you can put your coat on the back of your chair. You'll have a little morning job to do while everybody gets here. And then you will be able to play in your room. You can see there's little bits of tape on the floor. And that's to remind us to stay a little bit more apart than we would normally. You can still play in the water. But we can't have Play-Doh or sand, just for a little bit of time. You can still play in the home corner. And we can still play with the construction. Now, your teachers are going to be Mrs. Pidcock, Mrs. Swan and Mrs. Simpson. You'll see them every day. Bubble 2 with me and Mrs. Neal. So, Bubble 2 will enter through the car park. Following the arrows, you will line up here on the next free line, all marked out 2 metres apart. Your teacher, which will be me, will be stood at this gate. And when I come out, you can stand here, where I've drawn you a nice sunshine. Then you'll come into our classroom through those doors there. When the mummies and daddies leave, they'll turn round and they'll follow the arrows right round the car park and out of school. There won't be any cars when the mummies and daddies are here, but you can see the arrows pointing all the way out here, right round to the other side. Now you'll need to be careful to stay 2 metres apart here through the gate, walking right to the side like that. I will be waiting at this gate for you, and you'll be able to come in through our playground. Now this is our outdoor area for us to use. Mrs. Neal will be waiting at this door, and she'll show you where your table is. You'll be able to come in to the classroom, put your things down on your table and go and wash your hands. You can see we've put tape on the floor around the tables. That's just to remind you to stay a little bit apart if you can. when you sat down especially, and just to touch your own things. So we've got some trays with your own things in them. Got some Play-Doh, some counters and glue. Got your own books. You can still use the making areas. And there's some maths things we can play with. And the construction area, of course. We can play with that too. In fact, we've got 2 of those here. Time for Bubble 3 with Miss Smith and Mrs. Pemberton. Bubbles 3 and 4 will enter through the main gate, and they will line up on these lines, which are 2 meters apart. You'll then wait on your line till your teacher comes to the door, and there's your entrance. Then the parents will leave, following the arrows back up the other path, and that way you can help each other to keep safe. You're going to be using this toilet here. Mrs. Pemberton and Miss Smith will show you that toilet. And you're going to come into this lovely Year 2 classroom. Now you will have your own desk again with your things on it. You put your lunchbox and your drink on your table, and you've also got lines around your desk to remind you not to touch anybody else's things. Now your teachers are going to be Miss Smith, hello, and Mrs. Pemberton, who are very, very busy at work getting lovely things ready for you. You'll have your own table with your own things, but we've made you a little making area, and you've got some Lego to play with. Mrs. Pemberton has made a letters and sounds area. You've also got some wooden blocks. Now it's time for Bubble 4. You'll be with Mrs. Christie, Mrs. Robson and Mrs. Mott, and you'll come into this classroom. You'll have a table with a little pack of things on it. Oh, you've got a clock and a glue stick and some Play-Doh. You'll know which one is yours because it'll have your name on it. Everybody's got one who's coming back. And you'll be sitting 2 meters apart. Like that. So these are going to be your toilets. It's your normal toilets, and that's fine. So, if you're in Bubbles 5 and 6, you're going to walk through the gate, follow the arrows with your number. You've got to stand on one of the colourful lines, which are all 2 meters apart. Wait there until your teacher comes to your classroom door. Here is the entrance for Bubble 6, and here is the entrance for Bubble 5. If you are in Bubble 7, follow the big number 7 on the playground. Follow the arrows round school, and you will be lining up on the playground, so you'll go through that gate. Oh. Bubble 7, follow the arrows through the gate, and you'll be on the yard. Find number 7, which is here, and then stand on one of the colourful lines, all measured out 2 meters apart. There's enough for everybody. Your teacher will come to the door, and then you'll be able to walk in. Now parents, if you want to come onto the yard with your children, that's fine, but you will have to leave on the path, which is over here. So where it says parents exit, follow the arrows all the way around the path, which will take you to the gate. The gate will be open, and you'll see arrows on the playground and in the car park, showing you how to get out of the car park without getting too close to anybody else. Now, the cars won't be in the car park on Monday, so you'll be able to keep right to the edge and maintain social distancing like this. So the mums and dads can follow the arrows like that out of the main gate for the car park. So bubble 5 with Mrs. McLeod, Mrs. Carruthers and Mrs. Daly will be in this classroom. It's the Year 3 classroom. You've all got a table and a chair and a little drawer. In your drawer are some secret things just for you to use. There's your classroom. Now I have noticed a few little toys in the corner there for you to play with, so that will be fun. And I think I can see a castle in the corner down there, which we'll be able to play with too. So, if you are in bubble 6, you'll come through the door and Mrs. Bradbury will be waiting for you with Mrs. Tingay. Everybody has got their own chair, their own desk and some equipment all for yourself. There's a book in there. It looks like you're going to be reading a nice book together. A calculator and a glue stick all for yourself. It looks like you might be getting a ruler as well. There we are. It's nearly ready. Mrs. Bradbury's just going to put some final touches in. Everyone will have their own tray and their own seat, and you'll be able to play outside in one of the outdoor classrooms as well. Bubble 7 is in the Year 5 classroom with Mrs. Dowes, Mrs. Richmond and Mrs. Fisher. You've all got a little pack of things on your desk and some books that Mrs. Dowes thinks you will enjoy. That's where Mrs. Dowes will sit. And you've all got your own table, special books. Playing outside, it is going to be a little bit different. We're allowed to go on the field, and Mrs. and Mr. Kirkwood have made some special little seats for us. And that's going to be our outside classroom. So this outside classroom belongs to Mrs. Pemberton's bubble 3. So you'll all have a log to sit on, and you'll be able to do lots of learning outside. Lots of fun things that we've got ready for you. Now the corridor looks a bit different. We've put lines on the corridor. You have to walk on those lines and try and keep 2 metres apart. You can't walk in the middle, just to keep us safe. Now, Mrs. Thornton will be in her office, but you can see there's a green line. You can't go past the green line, but you can go and stand in that little box. And you can say hello to Mrs. Thornton because she's going to be lonely.
I am going to be lonely. Please come and say hello to me when you're in school.
Sometimes the teachers might need to wear gloves on their hands, or they might need to wear a funny hat. Do you want to see mine? So, that's that. A little tour of the school. I hope you're ready for Monday and that you're excited. We've got lots of fun things ready for you, and I really missed you, so I'm looking forward to seeing you. Bye.